we got to realize that these people are still making up the rules as they go along. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It just means that it's a bit fluid. So one word of caution is I would just say, remember that, don't put your life secrets in it and then expect it to stay completely secret.
Hey Channel Insiders, I'm Katie Bavoso, and welcome back for part 2 of my interview with Zac Paulson, Director of Product and Strategy at ABM Technology Group. If you haven't watched or listened to part 1, head on over to channelinsider.com right now to catch up. In this half of the interview, we dig into the hottest topic of 2024, AI, and we discuss what Zac and ABM are doing to help their clients harness its power. You mentioned that a lot of your clients are still having a security incident before they get the security, and one is causing them to be able to jump on board with the security solutions. Is that ransomware? Is that what do you usually see as far as those incidents?
Yeah, the biggest one lately has been business email compromise. That one really scares me because, all of a sudden somebody's in their email sending stuff on their behalf, and these clients are wiring real money to real places. And I say clients, these are usually prospects. We don't actually allow any client to come on board now without security. It's just not allowed. Like you don't work with us if you don't do our security stack. And the reason being is because we used to not allow that about a couple years ago, and 2 of our largest clients got hit. And that was ransomware in their case. And it was miserable. It was miserable for them. It was miserable for us. We ended up losing the clients over time because it was a really hard time for people to understand where the liability landed. And in reality, at the end of the day, the clients own their own security. If you don't lock your doors, and if you told the alarm company you don't want the system, they're the ones that own it. But it's really hard to understand that when they're like, well, you're supposed to be the experts. Yes, but you signed the checks. So I'm sorry, until you sign a check allowing me to do that, I can't do it. And so all of our clients are forced to do the security, not because we don't like them, it's because we like them and we want them to stick around and we want them to be safe. But a lot of the prospects we're talking with, it starts with business email compromise. One of the ones I heard the other day that we were in talking with, a vendor of theirs had sent them an invoice for, I want to say, about $40,000. And the person had wired the money, and then the person came in and said, hey, why does this vendor want so much money right away? And the business owner looked at the front desk person and said, oh, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden it dawned on them, oh no, that wasn't real. Fortunately, they were able to connect with the bank. The wire had not been completed and they stopped it. But had that gone through, that's real money, $40,000 gone. Ransomware is scary, but this is real money gone. This isn't just business productivity. And so what we're seeing is really trying to interrupt that problem right there, get into that email and protect it for the clients. Because we trust our email. If we get an email from a vendor and it's their actual domain, or maybe it's a letter off, we don't pick up on that. We just go ahead and do what we need to do.
And remind me, how big are your clients typically? What range do they fall into as far as number of employees?
Yeah, we have clients anywhere from just 5 users all the way up to 150, but the bulk of our clients are in that 25 to 50 users. That's kind of the sweet spot, if you will, for most of our clients.
I think that that's so important to point out, that these are the real world scenarios that you're not hearing in the headlines every day. Nobody is too small or too, quote unquote, for those listening in podcast version, insignificant for a ransomware attack or a malware attack or just a scam like this one, like you were explaining. You don't hear about it, but $40,000 lost into nothing would have been a significant blow to that company. And so just because they're not making the headlines, these are happening every single day. It is an easy payday for the bad actors. So, okay, I'm going to step off my soapbox now. Get security, everybody. That's all I'm saying. So now that we've had a bit of a scary story, I'd love to talk about some really good things. Is there a success story that you have in mind with a client that is really kind of a banner success story for you, Zac, whether it be with True IT or with ABM Technology Group? What's something that when you talk about this is why I come into work every day, what's a success story that you can describe to me with a client where you were able to, whether it be protect them, innovate with them, and just overall do good stuff?
Yeah, I've got so many, but one of the ones that comes to mind that I'm really proud of is, as much as it's awful to see a client have to leave you because they were acquired, I always get excited for them because, the people we work with are real America, right? They're Main Street America. These are entrepreneurs that started something, that grew their business, and then got successful enough to sell it off. And so we just recently had a women's clinic. They were a wonderful client for many, many years. I want to say 5 or 6 years. if not more. I mean, we worked with them from the ground up when they were early on. They grew their organization. They opened other locations. They helped deliver who knows how many babies. So there's a lot of people that have entered the world because of them for real. And then just recently, they were able to be acquired by one of the larger hospital chains in the area. And I just think it's super cool to see those stories happen, to know that you had a part of it. We're in the middle of transitioning IT, and I always get excited when the other acquiring IT company is actually a little surprised by the quality of technology that the organization had prior, and we're seeing that now. And in fact, sometimes it's funny because these big companies sometimes don't even do what we do from a technology perspective in terms of mobility and security and those type of things. So yeah, that's always fun. Enjoy seeing that happen. Of course, also love growth. I'm a growth guy, so I love it to see businesses grow. Many of the clients we've taken on have gotten bigger, and so that's always good. It's always good to see them be able to grow and expand.
I'm not sure if we talked about the verticals your business typically operates in as far as your clients go. Are there any, you mentioned a women's clinic, so is medical something you operate in most of the time, or does it kind of span a range?
Yeah, in North Dakota, we've kind of got to take whatever can come to us. No, we do have a few verticals that we don't necessarily specialize in terms of like tailor our marketing, but we do a lot with large nonprofits. So, a nonprofit that's got 10 to 25 employees that maybe the local United Ways. We work with organizations that generally do goodwill all over the place. That seems to be an area for us. We work well with manufacturing. Manufacturing always has a pretty decent technology spend, and really, when machines are down, it's costing them thousands of dollars. So that seems to be an area that fits naturally with us. And out of that, other organizations, a little bit of finance, a little bit of education, but like I said, kind of all over the board.
What vendors, if any, would you shout out as far as really helping you this year and being great partners?
Oh, well, one of the big ones that we work with, and they're more of a marketplace vendor, but Pax8, we work with Pax8 a lot. So we end up getting a lot of different products from them. Our security stack is built on many different things that they bring to the market. SentinelOne being one of them, Huntress being another that we get in the marketplace. Not Pax8's, but they don't offer that. They go direct. But yeah, a few different ones that have just been really critical in helping our organization grow would be those two for sure. Another one that related to business email compromise would be IRONSCALES. That's been a fantastic partner as well. So IRONSCALES has really helped us to catch those phishing attempts before they become a problem.
Very interesting. And thinking about Pax8 and thinking about marketplaces, just kind of ruminating on this thought, as far as the marketplace introduction into managed services, what has that been like for you? Do you remember even a time now before marketplaces, before the Pax8s of the world, or has it been a more difficult transition that now you feel like you're getting your footing? Just talk to me about that experience of becoming a marketplace partner like you are.
Yeah, I've tried to forget the days before.
Oh, really?
So it's just cloud distribution. I know they like to talk about marketplace, but let's just to boil it down to the idea of cloud distribution has been key for us. We really like being able to purchase, just like you would purchase your hardware from one place in the past. We really like the idea of being able to get our cloud services from one place. And so that has been critical for us. We kind of had an unwritten rule that you can buy any product you want as long as you get it from Pax8 back in the day, because it was that much of a business efficiency piece for our organization. So we've really appreciated them. We've really appreciated the market evolving to a place where we do have those marketplaces available. And yeah, we continue to go deeper and deeper with that partnership. They've also helped make the myriad of Microsoft mess kind of easier to digest, right? Because Microsoft licensing has always been a challenge for the smaller partners. And even though we buy a decent amount, it's nothing compared to Microsoft's billions and billions of dollars they transact daily. So they've really helped organizations like ours be able to act and be nimble like a large organization through that marketplace.
Were you ever worried about marketplaces when they first came on the scene? Was it ever, you talked to some of those that have been around for decades in this industry, and they were concerned that customers were going to be able to go to them and just kind of grocery store pick everything that they needed. But I never felt that way about it. But what are your thoughts on it as far as when they first came out? Did you see it as an opportunity, or were you nervous?
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's why I struggle a little bit with the term marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
is that at the end of the day, it's a marketplace for the MSP. I don't know that it's a marketplace for the consumer. We still have very few clients that transact themselves. I wowould say 98+% of our clients transact through us first, so they'll reach out. So it really makes our lives easier. It makes the clients' lives easier by proxy, But I was never really worried that people were going to go point, click, and buy whatever they needed. There's still so many services that need to wrap around it, and there's so many more logistical challenges buying your software. If you're buying something random like Calendly, if you're going to buy that for your calendaring system, yeah, you can go buy that direct and click a button and have it integrated. But if you're going to put SentinelOne in place, or you're going to put IRONSCALES in place, or you're going to roll out an MDR, that just doesn't happen by clicking a button, and nor does somebody want to just trust that them clicking a buy now button took care of everything. So there's just so much more that goes into it. So when we talk marketplace, I was never really worried that we were gonna lose tons of business, but I was worried that we wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand. So this has helped us really keep up with the demand.
I think this year in particular, in 2024, the biggest question that everybody suddenly realized they needed to answer was, what's the kernel? And everybody realized, oh, we actually really need IT people who know what they're doing to come in and be able to operate these things on our computers. But going back into it, what's next for ABM Technology Group this year?
Yeah, so ABM has been on quite a ride. We've acquired several organizations since we've acquired True IT. And so just recently, actually, a few days ago, 3 days ago, I think, we acquired a company called Magic City Systems in Minot, North Dakota. Most people have no idea where Minot is, but it's got one of the largest nuclear Air Force bases in the country. So that's a big deal. But we brought Magic City Systems on board, and we're going to continue to do the same. So we want to make sure that we have presence in all the places we have our current print locations. We want to make sure we have IT presence. And we do have technicians there, but we want to build out the sales channels. We want to build out all the different systems that you would expect from a local office. And so that's going to be a big push for us. Additionally, just continuing to expand our footprint. Print is very territorial based, so you buy a territory, and that's where you can distribute your equipment. So that's probably going to be the growth model going forward for ABM, and IT will follow. That will be how it works.
Any trends you're implementing strongly or strongly avoiding this year?
So one of the things we also rolled out is we rolled out what we call ABM AI. It's a focus on Microsoft Modern Work and Copilot. As you can imagine, AI is dominating everybody's airwaves, I guess is what you'd say. So we're going to ride that as well. We're diving into a market that we weren't as familiar with before. We weren't targeting that larger mid-sized market, whereas ABM AI is actually going to go after that market entirely. So we launched an entirely new division, hired up like 14, 15 people, and we are going headlong into the Modern Work and Copilot space. We know that AI is going to dominate the future, and we want to make sure that we're there to help our clients get to that point.
Tell me more about the AI journey that you're on at ABM Technology Group with this. You were just talking about what solutions you're building out for your customers, but were you always, as soon as the AI train started really taking off about 2 years ago, were you on board already, or did it take you a while to jump on?
So I'm always a little slow to grab technology. It sounds kind of funny. You would think somebody like me would be like on the cutting edge, but I'm a natural skeptic. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was just like always naturally positive on everything, but I'm a little skeptical of technologies. And so when AI first came out, I kind of thought it was a bit cheeky. I'm like, we'll see where it goes, right? But now all of a sudden I'm starting to see that, wait a minute, most of the security tools we've been using for years have been using AI to be able to stay ahead of the bad actors. And why not use that for productivity? And so what I've really seen with AI is not only has it gone beyond the technology of security and those type of things, we're really starting to see where we can make people more productive. That's super exciting to me, because if I give you a blank canvas and I say just write down a job description, you and I are going to struggle for a while because we don't know what frame do we write it in. You know, you're better at writing than I am, but when you're writing, you've got to have a tone, you've got to have an understanding, those type of things. So where do we start? And I feel like AI is going to help with a lot of those starting points. They're going to be able to get us going. It has some challenges. I had to try to do a logo for me the other day, and it couldn't spell the word on the logo right. So yeah, it's got some work to do. But on the flip side, if we can get ourselves 80% of there, what can it do? What can we do with the other 80% time savings?
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, very interesting. Have you had to put any sort of guardrails around some of your clients? We've talked a lot about security today. Are there anything that you noticed certain new clients or even existing ones were doing where you had to put the kibosh on that like real fast?
Yeah, I think it's always funny to me that I think people don't realize that in order to know all these things, it must know all these things, right? So it seems like a very logical statement, but even I was a little surprised when I found out that Copilot, the moment you procure your first license and connect it to the tenant, it crawls everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just runs through everything. Well, and that's before you even assign it a user. So it's not even based on my permissions or your permissions. It just crawls the entire tenant. Yeah, that's pretty intrusive. And so what we're doing and what we're spending a lot of time on is we're letting people know what its capabilities are, but also letting it know what it has to know to be able to do what it does to make sure those guardrails are in place. I don't know that we've had any situations, maybe we have, but I don't know of anywhere we've had to like shut it down. But we've definitely had moments of pause where we've had to say to clients, do you realize what it's doing right now? And are you sure that all your permissions are set? Because people don't think about that. You're just naturally trusting, and it's got different ways of working.
A lot of people see something new and they go, wow, it's so smart, it's so interesting, it's so shiny, it must already have guardrails built in. And I think that was a surprising thing about Microsoft that everybody learned, thinking that this gigantic company that is backed by so many years of innovation would have something in place to keep it from, like you said, crawling all over the place and learning everything, and that you shouldn't put very specific medical information in there or numbers or anything personal information into it. And so when people found out that that isn't behind it, I think that was very shocking to a lot of people. So at the end of the day, just think about it as the Borg. If you tell one, it's going to go and tell all the others right away.
That's right. Well, and we have terrible habits, right? I mean, there's not a single one of us that haven't emailed something we probably shouldn't, that had information in it that probably shouldn't have just been emailed, whether it's a quick tax return we've sent over, or whether it's, a social security number we've had on a form. We've all done it. So why would we expect that AI wouldn't find that, right? Why would we expect it doesn't exist? And so it's just getting past that. And then on top of that, I do have a little bit of distrust about some of these organizations. Speaking specifically to ChatGPT, OpenAI has now, they were a nonprofit. Now they're not a nonprofit. They took investment from Microsoft. Then they're kind of on their own. We got to realize that these people are still making up the rules as they go along. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It just means that it's a bit fluid. So one word of caution is I would just say, remember that, don't put your life secrets in it and then expect it to stay completely secret. And then, don't forget that what these tools can be used for good, they can also be used for evil. We are seeing more and more security incidents where these actors that maybe would have had poor English or poor structure on their email attempts, they're getting better and better. It's normal language. We're able to read it, and it doesn't sound any different than you and I would speak. In fact, you can change the accent. Let's go ahead and put it in a Midwestern tone, or let's put it in an East Coast tone. If you can do that, it's only going to get harder and harder to figure out what's real and what's not.
No, I agree. And I also think about, you brought up OpenAI. Another thing that I get concerned about over there is pretty much the entire group of founding members, the majority of them have left, and not always on good circumstances. The majority of people that were really fighting for there to be guardrails and safety precautions and basically doing good with AI, those people have also left. So I get concerned when I think about the human team dissolving behind these huge AI hive minds. It is interesting that you bring that one up. That's one I'm always very passionate about each week, going, what's today going to bring us with this particular journey? A lot of great thoughts on that, Zac. As we move forward into 2025, just knowing that you have such a rich history within the technology business and the IT space, are there any suggestions you have for those listening on how do you stay safe when it comes to implementing a new AI tool?
I think the biggest thing is just we always like to dog food it on ourselves. We always like to run it ourselves and fully understand it. I think that's super important. We can't be out there just implementing things for our customers and not really know how they perform. So for us, a tool that we've always done to make sure that we stay safe and make sure our clients stay safe is get to know it really well beforehand before you deploy it to everybody else. That's probably the biggest place I'd start.
Great advice there. Just everything comes with an entire shaker of salt, people. Just watch out.
Right. That's right.
And Zac, if we want to learn more about ABM Technology Group, where can we go?
Yeah, just go to abmnow.com. You can learn all about our services. And I would also throw out there, I'm willing to talk to anybody about all of this. I'm very passionate about technology, passionate about the entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out on LinkedIn, connect with me anytime. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Wherever you are in your journey, I'd love to talk with you about it.
Oh, I'd love to hear that, Zac. Thank you so much for coming on today, and I hope to have you back on in 2025.
Absolutely, would love to.
Thank you so much. Thanks again to Zac for joining me today, and thank you for watching or listening. You can check out all episodes of Channel Insider Partner POV on channelinsider.com or watch on youtube.com/channelinsider_news and trends. You can also listen to us as a podcast on your favorite podcast listening platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to never miss an episode. Once again, I'm Katie Bavoso, and I'll see you next time.